Hello, everybody, and welcome to Button Smash.
Button Smash.
Yeah.
Smashing buttons.
Yeah, the only gaming podcast wishing you a happy holiday season.
Holiday season.
Yeah, what's going on, everybody in here, out there, watching live here on twitch.tv/WeAreRogueMatter, listening to us and everywhere you can listen to a podcast, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and more. Thank you very much. This day, tonight, we're going to be talking about the latest happenings within the gaming industry. But before we get into any of that, got a little Swedish chef there. But before we get into any of that, let's see who's joining us today. You know him, you love him. Doc Chris.
You love me? Oh, that's so cute.
Speaking of cute, we got Days Mac.
Casey thought he was going to say him.
I thought about it. I thought about it being Casey.
I didn't think
you look too happy.
You don't know me.
I was a Swedish chef once, so that's funny.
Were you really, like, for Halloween?
No, for a career at IKEA for 5 years.
I love that. It's like, how did we get here?
It's also where I learned how to speak Mandarin.
Why did you get fired? Were you enunciating too much? Is that why? I imagine
yeah,
that
you
would be
leave
it.
those nuns alone.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
Too much nonsense. Speaking of leaving people alone, we got Booster Greg.
Oh, come on.
I wish TV's Casey would leave me alone sometimes.
Yeah, I bet you would.
Yeah, I look out in the sky, I see that one singular star, and I wish upon it, and that's how I know wishes aren't real. Because within 15 seconds, Casey's texting me.
It's me.
Well, speaking of the last baked in dodgeball, TV's Casey.
That being said, I am the one gift you can't return this year.
True.
I've tried.
And it keeps on giving. Happy holidays, everybody. I'm your host, Serge the Bad Cody Funky. Let's get into this. So, guys, the gaming industry, all right, has had some echoes. It's had some cries out there in the force. Millions of voices all
cried out in terror.
All cried out in terror all at once. And why? Because of a certain game from a certain red company. So, CyberPunk 2077 has been making waves with CD Projekt Red trying to put out the dumpster fire that is all the bugs and all the backlash they've been receiving from the game. Just plain not working for some folks, but looks like they made an apology tweet over the console performance. Get into it.
Oh man! So there have been reports. I think we talked about it last week that people are not super psyched with how Cyberpunk has been running on Xbox One and PS4. What? Who has thought of that? So CD Projekt Red released a Twitter post, basically an apology saying, hey, we know the game is broken. We're going to release some updates to make it work better on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So basically now they're admitting this is a problem. So it's the first time they're admitting that. So
isn't that the first step in AA? Admitting
it is.
that you have a problem.
Admitting you have a problem.
Good one, Casey.
And then some other stuff starts coming to light. For instance, the fact that they didn't actually show any footage from the PS4 or Xbox One consoles
deliberately
on any of the marketing materials. In fact, the only time you saw anything from PS4, it was actually the game running on a PS5. So that's something that had that
top 10 anime betrayals.
Oh.
Absolutely. Insane. So in this apology tweet, they encourage folks to, if you are upset with the quality of the game, if you want, you can reach out to Sony and Microsoft to get some refunds. Except they never talked to Sony or Microsoft giving any sort of heads up at that time.
No,
that's actually really funny.
CD Projekt Red threw it to the gaming companies. If you want a refund, go talk to them. And they were just like, "The hell are you talking about?"
They were like, if you want a refund, go talk to Sony or Microsoft. Back to you, Sony or Microsoft. And they're just like, it's like the sportscaster's like shirt is unbuttoned. He's like, wait, what? I'm not. It's supposed to be weather. This is on you. What are you
Holy
doing right now?
Yeah, we've already been paid. We don't give a shit.
Yeah.
That's
Well, so
crazy.
they do have standard return policies now for digital copies of games, but it's usually like if you play X amount of hours or if you own it for X amount of time, it is no longer eligible for that.
And for PlayStation, that is if you download it to a console in a lot of cases. Like Xbox is more lenient on that. So they basically said, reach out to them, and if there's a problem, then reach out to us. All right, cool. So no communication there. And then they had to, like, in some, I don't know, public meeting, they basically were like, oh yeah, we didn't talk to them or make any arrangements. So they did, for folks that end up reaching out to CD Projekt Red when they were having issues with the refunds, basically they said Xbox refunds, we're working with them to make that happen. But if it's PlayStation, please wait until you hear back from us before trying to do anything. We're still working on, basically they were still talking with Sony about what did they want to do as far as that's concerned. So all of that went down. On top of, they actually changed the contracts of their employees, or they originally were going to make them only receive bonuses based off of their Metacritic score and the reviews of the game. And after all the stuff went down, they did decide that they're going to change that their bonuses will not be contingent on that, which is good for their developers. As shitty as all this whole situation is, that's actually a good move because it's not really their fault that they, released a half complete game. And I'm going to let Casey talk to us about the breaking news that just happened maybe about a half an hour, 20 minutes ago.
Breaking news, you say? I got this hot breaking news from my man Wario64, who is out there on the grind every day with all your deals on Twitter. So big props to him.
How much money were we getting for this plug right now, Casey?
Absolutely nothing.
You're
just an upstanding man.
Great. So the normal.
Yeah. So this is where I caught it. It popped up on Ask PlayStation as well. So they strive to ensure a high level of customer satisfaction, and we will begin to offer a full refund for all gamers who have purchased CyberPunk 2077 via PlayStation Store and want a refund. Please visit the following link to initiate the refund. So yeah, if they removed it off the PlayStation Store.
Until further notice.
And they're giving refunds.
CyberPunk 2077 is off the PlayStation Store, so if you go there now, you won't see it and you can't buy it?
Correct.
Yeah.
PS5?
Unclear. Well, definitely for PS4. We probably should have done more research before we start talking about it. But it just happened.
It says via PlayStation Store. I think it's... Well, let me click the link and
PlayStation
see.
Stores across everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so one would imagine it's pulled on both and not just the one, but
yeah,
who knows? Actually, there's a way to find out right now.
Yeah,
PlayStation
Store doesn't just mean one console. It's access among all the consoles. And
right,
I'm surprised to see that. And I was told by even some of our viewers that it just runs like crap on the PlayStation 5, which is insane. Imagine actually being able to buy a PS5, getting a PlayStation 5, loading up Cyberpunk, and it runs like trash. It runs like trash. Meanwhile, Miles Morales is smooth as butter. All the effects are going. Like Demon Hunter is insane. Not Demon Hunter, Demon Souls is insane. And Cyberpunk loads up, and it can barely run it. It crashes your PlayStation. One of our viewers, Stealth Killer here, says he can't even play it. It's unplayable. It crashes. Like almost out of dying.
PlayStation literally on fire.
Yeah, no, it crashes his PlayStation 5. He can't even play it.
Confirmed to search for CyberPunk on the PlayStation Store. Returns
returns
no searches.
Returns Jigsaw Abundant Cyberpunk bundle. That's the first one I got.
Damn.
Cyberpunk.
Does
this make you feel like you want to just go back and be more angry about them putting out those Night City Wire videos and not focusing any detail on this? Go ahead, yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I was super angry about this game. Every day I would just stare at it. I bought it on PC. I couldn't stream it. It was coming in all I don't know, the frames were being rendered out of place. It was very janky. It was so frustrating. And that's, I wanted to play this with my community. So I was like, okay, so I can't stream this, whatever, it's fine. I got a billion other games. I put in a couple hours and I was like, I'm going to return this game. This game is crap. I cannot believe I actually got this game. It's they sold me a lemon is kind of how I thought about it.
Yeah.
And then Jason and Serge were like, no, just keep on playing, keep on playing, keep on playing. So I was like, all right, before tonight's show, I'm gonna put in a solid amount of time. And I put in about 10 to 12 hours so far. I got past
I'm gonna fact check that.
It's like 11.8 hours, I think.
Okay, 9.4 hours.
Yeah.
No, it's more than that.
You have to refresh.
It's more than that, sir. Your Steam is living in the past. That's what it was. 11.8 hours confirmed. So 10 to 12 hours. Anyways, I'm fact checking myself and confirming myself. It's all the truth. Everything I say, by the way, it's none of it's lies. So I played it and I do enjoy it more, but a lot of these bugs are breaking the game for me still. So there's a touching moment where you get handed a certain chip, and the first time I played it, because my game crashed, the first time I played it, there's nothing in the guy's hand. The second time I played it, a gun was in his hand.
Nice.
Like one of his guns, and then he like he takes it out of his own head so that he pulls a gun out of his head and then tries to put it in my head. And I'm like, what is going on?
What?
It's humorous. That part is supposed to be very touching and sad, and it's like this big monumental like shift in the game. But I'm just like, I get nothing or a gun instead of a chip. That's
awesome.
That too. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So I've played for 47 hours now.
Damn, let's go.
I'm very happy with the game, right? After they released a 4 gig update and they patched up so I can actually get like 90 frames, even though I'm setting it to 144.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. You know, what I found really funny though is that there was a moment where I was sneaking up on a character, because that's the way I like to play, is like, you know, stealthy sneak mode kind of, you know.
Boy.
Yeah.
And I walked up and there was a guy and I was like, what is he doing? And I realized that he was just in like the character T pose, right? Like he was just stuck in the
I had
model
a few
pose.
of those happen to me too. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, like afterward, I remember like my time in college, like I studied 3D animation and game design. I was like, oh crap, like that's what that was.
I
was
thought
like,
you were gonna say I was stuck in a T pose in college.
I was stuck in T pose for a long time. That's why
He was
I failed a lot of
posing
those
so someone
classes.
could digitally animate him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But what was really funny is that there was another moment, like later on in the story, I'm not going to give anything away, but you're in a car with a woman and she's the one who's driving. And all of a sudden it glitched out on me. And I was the one who was sitting in the seat. And I look over to my right to see her in the passenger seat. And I was like, oh, I guess you have the option of taking over. No, I was sitting inside of her. Right. And you could see the inside of her, like you could see the back sides of her eyeballs. And I was like, this is so weird. And then it wouldn't let me get out a couple of times. Some bugs like that. It doesn't ruin the game for me.
You couldn't escape this prison of the flesh.
Yeah, there were a couple of things, like I got a car stuck because I'm a bad driver in the game. So
well, that's because the cars are bad in this game.
well, they are very
the cars
squirrely.
suck
I
in this
figured
game.
it out finally, but I ended up like it was me just being lazy. I just like driving in reverse at a certain point. I got stuck. I couldn't get out of the car for like 10 minutes. So a lot of this 47 hours is me like struggling just to get out of things.
Yeah.
But
It's driver's ed.
yeah, it's driver's ed, but it's been good so far. So
Yeah.
I can't complain about it anymore. I just have funny like dumb moments now.
I've definitely changed my tune. I'm not going to return it now that I've actually like I've gone over that hump, the part where I don't care anymore. And mild spoilers, if you haven't seen any of the marketing for this game, it's when Keanu Reeves shows up is now that I'm invested. So they took
And
their
if you know,
sweet
like
time.
Keanu Reeves shows up after,
And also they spent like no budget on Keanu Reeves. He's like the draw for, I would assume, well, myself and I would assume many people. And he looks like they
real.
put him in like last second, which maybe they did.
yeah.
Storm
like, all
brand
the-
Keanu.
All the trailers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like Keanu's face, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like you're looking at this and I'm like, I'm running a 3070 right now. Like this should be like really good.
Yep.
I have ray tracing turned on like all the way. And like, even if it is like 30 frames, I'm like, it still doesn't look like them.
You know what's crazy?
yeah.
Like I feel sorry for a lot of people too, because just like you, Jay, I've really had very little to no bugs when playing this game. So as I'm going through the story and I'm going through the fights and stuff like that, I'm having a good time. And then meanwhile, over on my buddy Johnny Church's stream, which he had his NGX2 podcast, we were talking about how most of the guys there were all having issues. I mean, like almost all the community were having this and that happened. Most of them were playing on PC, some of them were playing on console, but more often than not, they're just like, this game is unplayable, I can't do this, I can't do that, and it's ruining people's experience. And it sucks because I'm having a good experience with the game so far. I mean, knock on wood, so far I've had maybe like 10-15 hours in the game, And I'm really liking the story. I didn't think it would go a direction it would go when Keanu Reeves shows up, like that whole thing with all like incoming.
I called that
and,
like way back when the game first came out.
You did the whole the whole Tyler Durden thing, yeah. But the incoming Doom part is what I'm talking about.
I don't think I've gotten that far yet. He's literally just taunting me like Handsome Jack and Tales from the Borderlands at this point.
Gotcha. Yeah.
He's showing up in diners, kicking his feet up, being Keanu Reeves. You know, like. That old trick.
Corroded liver.
I mean, so far, like everyone's had to play like Cyber Simulator 2077.
Yeah,
like setting simulator. I mean, to get like everything tweaked out, and I love it too because you have like top Twitch streamers and YouTubers with like 3090s, top of the line graphics card, top of the line CPUs, GPUs. 20 minutes in the settings just because the game's not well optimized. It's so insane. I mean, and I can see why people want a refund, you know? And it's like, oh man, like I would hate to refund the game, you know what I mean? Because I really like first person shooters. I mean, everyone that knows me watching either in chat or live or in Alex's Discord knows that, you know, I like Warzone and Call of Duty and stuff. And it's such a fun time, but give me a good old RPG. Like, give me some immersion. Like, get me in there. You know what I mean?
I got to be honest with you guys. I was very intimidated by the inventory management. And Greg will tell you, I loves me some inventory management.
You can't stop this guy from inventory management.
You can't stop it, except stop it. The only way to stop it is to stop it. But, you know,
it's true.
It's so much. There's so much to this game. Before we got on this, I was talking to Chris and I brought up the fact that is this game like the Daikatana of the current generation?
Yes,
maybe.
Go on.
I don't know what that is.
Were you waiting for us to like to say something? Go on.
So, famed video game developer John video game history knowledge.
All of that is true, but not necessarily reflective of the statement you just made.
He devised a game called Daikatana, which was originally billed as like the first, like sort of fuck you fanboy. It's got guns, it's got swords, it's got broads, it's got monsters, you know, and before Duke Nukem Forever became like the most delayed, horrible gaming catastrophe in the history of video game development, Daikatana came out to middling, pathetic reviews after it was built up for years of hype, and failing to deliver on pretty much all of its promises, except the inclusion of things, not necessarily that the things they included worked.
So here's a question for the three of you that have played the game.
Here, hold on,
We're on it.
Pause. Hold that just for a second.
Pausing.
Promax, thank you for all the gifted subs. Holy crap, you're literally breaking the stream.
We're breaking the stream.
Oh my god. I was trying to find the option to mute all the sub sounds, but they just kept going off and kept going off. So it's important
it's a good problem to have.
When you guys watch this back on YouTube, on Rogue Matters YouTube and on Spotify and stuff, you won't hear all this stuff. You'll hear our conversation and everything. But damn, dude, thank you so much for the support. That's right, people. Make sure you use your free Twitch Prime. You can also gift. Thank you. 'Tis the season. Promax coming through, showing that love. Thank you, my dude. Hell yeah. Everyone who just got those subscriptions, make sure to use those emotes. Let's go. And to get some hearts in the chat for Promax. Thank you so much. Oh my god, guys, breaking the stream. Because literally you couldn't hear Casey for a moment.
No, it's cool.
That's my dream.
That's probably for the best, let's be honest.
Hey, throw more money at us. Maybe I'll shut up forever.
He won't.
Thanks.
Oh my god. But all right, let's get back to the show here.
Yeah. So since we're now in it talking about Cyberpunk, I don't think we've actually really discussed the game specifically before this. Now, for the three of you that have played it, what are you like? Like, what are you liking about the game?
I went the street kid route. I went the Aladdin route, is what I call it.
Nice.
Which was something that as soon as I heard all those choices, I was like, that's just what I'm doing. There's no other temptation anywhere else. The first 2 hours, I hated it. You all know this is getting returned. This is garbage. And then I just like sat down and I kind of like forced myself through it. And this is not a great thing to say about a game, period. But
Yeah.
once I really kind of hit more combat based stuff and I could explore the world a little bit more, I started getting more into it. And I got like the side missions, and some of them are kind of funny, some of them are kind of like messed up, some of them are just kind of bland, but like you really get a taste for the whole city. As soon as the sunset and night really hit, that's when this game really took off in terms of like just looking amazing. And it started looking.
You're saying Night City looks better
at night.
At night.
Well, it's a city at night.
Difference.
It's a town in the day.
The difference, you might say.
It's your classic Metropolis Gotham scenario.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it's very similar to that, where and it looks very like cleaner and more well kept at the daytime. And as soon as as soon as night falls, you're just like, oh crap.
I think you're just driving through the Glen at that point, man.
Yeah, probably
That's the nice part.
But like, so I've been exploring and I've been really into it. I played for like 4 or 5 hours straight, and I didn't even realize that time had passed. So it really started getting there for me. The shooting is hit or miss. The shotgun's really good.
Nice.
You're the worst. You're the
That's
absolute worst.
I'm just having a good time.
I don't regret it anymore, and I think it is a good game. I think they just need to fix it. I think the fact that they put such a highlight on the fact that they were fixing it and then didn't is what really got me pissed off. I think that was ultimately that painted this whole game in a negative light, and it took me almost 12 hours of gameplay to really get out of there.
Back check 9.4. I really like it.
It is.
I like I said, I do like it. Hey, Sergio, I got to give you that update. I got my my mantis arms, by the way.
Hey, yes,
so
they're
I can
so
start
good.
slicing people up.
What do you think about them?
They're cool. I got a legendary set. Not
what are
legendary,
mantis arms?
The mantis
set.
arms are, I don't know if you remember the trailer. It's the blades that come out of your arm.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Metal style.
I paid like 44,000 eddies. That's the currency is eddies. I think they call it Euro dollars or
Yeah,
something
they call
like
it Euro
that.
dollars, but they're on the street. They're called eddies.
They're called
like
eddies.
Cockney ramen slang thing.
Greg just
which I
sent me
kinda
a
like. I was just
screenshot.
like, oh,
Greg,
11.8
okay.
screenshot
you.
confirmed.
Euro
Okay.
dollars, creddies, eddies.
Sure.
I was like, oh, okay.
Looks photoshopped.
Clearly
But yeah,
not true.
no, I run around with a revolver that's silenced, and I just sneak up on people and headshotting people in this game, super satisfying.
Yeah, it is.
That might make me
Yeah.
a psychopath, but it's fun because and I have this thing that does like a multiplier every time you hit somebody when you're silent. It'll just like crunch them so well. And it does like 2,500 damage. I also got a couple of sniper rifles that kind of give a nod to Overwatch, and I don't know where the correlation is. But one is called the Widowmaker, which is the sniper from Overwatch, and then another one is called the Overwatch. And it's not giving anything away, but it's really weird that is there, and I'm like, oh, okay, like that's funny. Both of those are super powerful, so if you happen to get it. Also, if you're starting the game and you're in the big tower, Sergio, we're trying not to give anything away, but I missed this and Sergio missed it at first. He went back and played it. There is a very strong katana on the roof of a building that you have to sneak into and steal something from. So if you're playing it, look for it, because I'm 30 something hours in. I'm not going back and playing that all the way through again. All right. I'm trying to romance somebody in this, and it's taken a long time to do so. So
it's
I'm
a dating sim.
There's a dating simulator as
We're
well.
in the end game now.
Yeah. Once I finally romance this person, I'm just gonna uninstall the game.
So it sounds like this game is very much like a jack of all trades, but master of none. There's just so many.
Yeah,
so many things.
And it just looks
it's like
nice.
they're trying to do a lot. And as I was talking to my stream, I feel like they should have really either researched talent to actually take hold and really craft some of the systems, right? So driving the game, not that great. The cars are cool, very cool. The main car you get, the one you see in the trailer, very cool. You can also get some other cars too that look like a Bugatti, look like a Porsche 911, but the handling is garbage. Maybe
Are you driving in first person?
Hmm?
Are you driving in first person?
No, I'm driving in third, like third,
Okay.
and I put in the options to have the that view like high and far away. So there's that. I do sometimes will drive in first person when I'm coming up to the mission just so it's like a smoother transition when you get out of the
That's
car.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. A little role play there. But I think, I mean, you know, like no shade on the developer who is in charge of the gun system, who is in charge of the car system. But I mean, people are people. Sometimes you're not good at certain things. You know what I mean? Like, you have some guys in sports teams who are not the best, right? Like I'm a fan of Man United. We got some guys who are not really good at certain things, and they get put in certain positions. It's like, well, yeah, of course he's messing up there. He doesn't really do that. So I'm wondering if they're like, okay, we need a car system, we need a gun system. All right, who do we have here inside of CD Projekt Red? Were they hiring externally?
I'm a
Were
character designer.
were they looking at the talent that they have? It seems like a bunch of like RPG nerds were trying to make a car system in order for you to like drive around. It seems like these RPG nerds were and tabletop nerds were trying to make like a gun game in which they weren't really that prevalent. It's like, were you looking for talent? You know, were you maybe scouting someone from a first-person shooter game to maybe, like, you know, get your system? I know it's like a big ass and it's a weird ass, but at the same time, it seems like who you have in-house just wasn't really cutting it when it came to the driving system, the shooting system. I mean, the shooting system and stuff is fine, but I would rather use melee weapons in this game, and I found them a lot more fun because I found some of the shooting a bit janky. And where the shooting system is fine is with the smart weapons. Like, I have a weapon called Skippy. It's kind of a talking gun, if you remember Who Framed Roger Rabbit and the Talking Bullets. So it's a talking gun, and it automatically it's an aimbot. It aims for the head. So and you can level the gun up with you. You can craft like a better version.
Yeah,
but if you're shooting at an
cool.
enemy, the bullets will automatically just go to someone's head because it's a smart weapon. But you have to have the right implants for your hands, your hand slot, in order to use them, which is actually really cool.
I kind of disagree. Like, the car system is just terrible. I would rather just sprint everywhere like Barry Allen than do any driving in this. Sometimes when I'm playing, I just like say to myself, "My name is Barry Allen." But I think the shooting.
Well, if this game takes place in the future, wouldn't that make you more of an Edward Thawne kind of a man?
Maybe,
Oh.
or unless I'm Barry Allen,
unless
unless I'm Barry Allen that traveled to the future.
Oh, Casey, your
Gotcha.
rebuttal.
Gotcha.
No, I'm good with that.
There's no rebuttal. There is no rebuttal to that.
Okay.
It was flawless. But like, I think the shooting mechanic itself is good. What I think is like really weird is they implemented like the standard, and Borderlands does this as well. And I'm not a big fan of the fact they do this, that they have stats, and that your gun, if you shoot someone in the head with a gun, they're dead no matter what, period. But in this game, because there's like characters that are like can out level you, there's enemies like I happened upon these enemies that were like skull level, and I was like, all right. I threw a grenade and it did nothing. They ate it and they said thank you and one-shotted me.
Thank you, sir. May I
That
have
should
another?
not happen in a shooting game, right? Like, an enemy is an enemy. Like, if it's a boss, that might be a different like scenario, but you will happen upon 3 thugs in the street, you shoot one in the head, they should be dead, but that's not the case.
They're upgraded though.
Yeah, but
That's
like,
the thing.
even so, like, you can like headcanon it and saying like, oh yeah, they just have like more advanced robotics or cybernetics or whatever inside them, right? But like, it doesn't feel right, and that's what a game is. Not what a game is about, but that's like a big part of a game, right? Like, is how it feels. The shooting doesn't feel as bad as I thought it would, which is why I think it felt good. Because when they announced this game, I was like, these dudes did Witcher. Like,
that's a melee
this is
game.
their first FPS that I'm at least aware of. Like, I was very concerned about that.
That goes to my thing that they're just like these RPG nerds trying to make these different systems.
Yeah. But like, I think they did. I think the shooting feels good. I think they just shouldn't have done, or they should have made it more obvious that like when you happen upon like different level enemies, it's because they have more advanced cybernetics or whatever. There's one character that I came across. I can't remember his name. It's like this huge tank looking dude. He's like
Atom Smasher.
Atom Smasher. Yeah, thank you. So like
That's
him,
copyrighted.
if I, well, it's actually ADAM. It's not
so
Atom,
like man.
It's Adam.
Smasher.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which that's what I thought too. I was like, oh, huh, great. But when you see him, you're like, oh, if I shoot him in the head, he's just gonna chew it and spit it right back out at me.
Yeah,
no problem. But when you're looking at it kind of like a thug on the street, you're like, I should be able to take you out.
Yeah,
so
true.
It is disjointed a little bit in that way, along with all of the other bugs
Why don't
that
they
are
just
in it.
do the thing like, you know, Mass Effect is like way into the future. Like, this is within our, you know, current century.
Yeah.
This is 50 years.
What about like something like a biotic force field? You know, like a little.
Yeah,
like a little blip, like a little
something. Yeah, but like that Mass Effect brings me to my next, like, not small gripe, my next big gripe that I will talk very quickly about, which is Mass Effect 1 through 3 had more advanced options for character customization than this fucking game.
True.
And it drives me up a wall. They're like, oh, you could like do this. Like you can just make your character exactly who you want to be. And you have like 4 sliders and like they give you like cool like freaking contact lenses.
Listen,
essentially.
You can't adjust your dick size in Mass Effect.
But it's only 3 sizes. It's not even a slider for that.
I just deleted mine. About the shooting, like the gun system though, I will say
real quick for those who don't know, yes, you can adjust your genitals in the character creation of Cyberpunk 2077.
Yep.
You could adjust your genitals, male genitalia, and for female genitalia, it's just like pubic hair and stuff like that. But for male genitalia, you can kind of adjust it. So that's what we're talking about.
I hit a funny bug, and then Jason, I want to hear what you have to say about the guns. But I came out of not cutscene. I came out of a scene where I couldn't change my clothes, and then finally I changed my clothes and I put on pants, and then I was naked with a mangina, and I was like,
Awesome.
I had that too.
that's weird. Like, so it just came out of that. It was like that, right? I put on pants. And my like schlong just came popping out. No pants at all. Just
I saw
like,
that. I saw on Twitter people
like,
were just like the genitals were just like popping out of the clothes.
Yeah. Well, but here's the thing though, is like there was no pants. It was just I put pants on, it got rid of the mangina, gave me a dick, and it was just like there's no pants. It was just still naked. I was like, what? So then I unequipped the pants and re-equipped them, and then it kind of worked as normal. But I was like, if I was streaming this, like that was not great.
So what's interesting about that is that so Twitch is letting people actually stream this game, and one of the reasons is that while nudity is a part of this world and sex is a big part of this world, it's not the main focus of the game, which is their rationale, which I think is an interesting.
That's fair. Yeah,
it's
they've had that for a while since Witcher 3. Which guess what? Another CD Projekt Red game.
Yeah, man, Trish is just hanging out all day.
Yeah,
hanging out all day.
But
he is.
I found it really funny. There was another moment like that, Greg, where I'm wearing like a baseball cap, but I have a haircut similar to mine in the game. And you go and look at your character while he's wearing a hat in the mirror, and it's just bald. And he just looks like Cypher from the Matrix right now.
Oh.
It's awful. It's awful. But I will say with shooting, you can peek around, cover and stuff like that, which I didn't realize until probably this afternoon. I was like, I got close enough to like a piece of cover where I can actually peek around corners. Okay, cool. When you're doing that though, it doesn't really work. Your line of sight is broken in the game. So if they're watching CD Projekt Red, if I have the crosshairs on somebody's head and I shoot and there's nothing in my way, it should hit their brain.
No, it hits the nothing. It hits the nothing between you and the. It hits the particles between you.
Walls.
It's too realistic, Jason. What's going on?
It hits the corner, or it hits something else, and it's not registering. So it's like an invalid. Yeah, I know it's an invalid target at that point, which is crazy frustrating. But that's it. That's the end of my like rant about it. Yeah, I do like it.
Yeah, I had a part that was. You drove me a little nuts, but I knew I wasn't gonna get anything out of it. I hit a part in the story. It was what I was talking about earlier, and this dead body just like flops to the ground next to me that shouldn't have been there, and it had a gold icon on it, and I was like, "Oh, this guy's got like something good." So I went over and I tried to pick it up, and it wouldn't let me do it. It wouldn't let me loot the corpse, and I was like, "What?" It wasn't an enemy. It was like spoilers. It was like a main guy, but like. I was like, what does he have?
Wait,
like, I want that.
Are you saying an essential NPC died in front of you?
Like previous scene, yes. But what happened is the body like clipped out of where it was supposed to be and landed on the ground in front of me. And I was like, okay. Tried to loot him, couldn't do it. Tried to pick him up, couldn't do it. I couldn't do anything with it, and it drove me up a wall. So I reverted to the save to try to see if I can like recreate it, and he wasn't even where he was supposed to be to begin with. So then I had to revert the save again, even further back, and it was kind of buggy. Like some sounds weren't happening and stuff like that, but I continued on and it kind of fixed itself. And I was just like, what
at that point, was it still a legendary item though, or no?
It didn't happen again.
Oh,
I couldn't do it again. Like it wouldn't let me get back to the body essentially.
Oh, okay.
You see, what we've got here now is what we like to call player-based Q&A or QA.
Well, that's the thing too.
They
Is
send
like
the game out early, and they're like, "Oh, they'll find all the bugs. That's
Well, like,
fine."
well, so the executive team did apologize, like, right, like it was part of their Twitter apology. They're like, don't blame the devs, don't blame like anyone that worked on this game. It was solely the executive team that decided this game needed to come out, which baffles me because you've already delayed it 3 or 4 times. Delayed again, just delay it until
They
2021.
They delayed it and they crunched. I don't understand.
Yeah,
How-
and
The
now,
highest
do both?
profile alpha release ever.
yeah, and
Not true. Remember how long Minecraft was in alpha?
Oh, that's true.
that's fair. That's fair.
Decades.
But still, like, just delay it again. Whatever, fine. The QA team can't possibly QA every part of this game. Like, I don't think it's feasible. Like, I think I was reading something that a QA person tweeted, so I didn't fact check it, so take it with a grain of salt, right? And they were like, it would take a lifetime for a team of like 20 QA people to like successfully give this the gold stamp.
Yes, but
Yeah.
to his point, and I don't claim to know anything really about
Right.
QA because I'm not a gaming professional, but like one of the first checks that you ever do is collision.
Yeah, but collision is can get so intense, and I don't want to go like too much into it, but physics is just so random and all over the place that like you can't really predict all of it. So when the assets load in, they might load in with like wonky physics, and that could cause them to clip out of a door or something like that.
Like
one of my main buddies, Jackie, as a street kid, we had to do the scene where I had to pick up like this girl who OD'd in a bathtub or something like that, right? So we give her to the paramedics. They take off. They're fucking brutal, by the way, the paramedics. And then I turn around and Jackie Barry Allen's through lockers. Like he literally just phases through these lockers.
I've seen that happen to others. Yeah.
Yeah. And like the force was so intense, the door swung open like at the same time.
Yeah.
I was like, you all right, pal?
He's the fastest man alive.
He's fast kid alive.
To that point though, Greg, yeah, like I was crouching and I'm going down a set of stairs and the game registered me as trying to run. And so I did a power slide and I slid. So it was really funny because I slid in front of a bunch of enemies. I was trying to sneak by. And so I have this thing that slows down time when like your enemies like detect you. So you have enough time to get back. And all of a sudden it just slid in front of them. And I was like, oh no, I got to go back. And I had to like stop and resave because I can't play through sometimes and just let it go haywire. Like I have to have it be good. So it bothered me enough where I was like, all right, I got to stop this and just like reload and try it again.
Is the movement slightly unresponsive for anyone else, or is it just because I'm running a 1070 Ti?
There are times where it does feel like a bathtub, where you're kind of like drifty a little bit, and
or when you're walking on garbage, you're like bouncing.
Or so that there are times where like I'll move and I'll do a dash as if I like, so I'll move and it won't happen, so I'll hit it again real quick, and then it'll move, but it'll do a dash as if I double tapped A or D.
Sometimes, and it really messes me up. Yeah,
it's weird.
Especially when I'm sneaking and I have like a katana out, and I'm like, all right, here we go. Oh,
yeah, and
I'm like, oh no, oh god, and they're like, there he is, get him. I'm like, oh crap, let's go.
So that just reminded me too. There was a moment where I had to just wait for a couple minutes for like somebody to show up, so I just pulled out my katana and just started like slashing around. I'm like, I'm just practicing my blade. I'll be right back.
It's so
hilarious to watch as an NPC. Yeah. Like, what is he doing?
So stupid.
They're just like, what's up with this guy? But I'm sure we'll have more to talk about Cyberpunk in the coming podcast as we'll eventually do our review of Cyberpunk 2077 when we get more into it. For now, we are going to take a short break. Stay right there. We will be right back.
Don't touch that.
Hi, this is Michael Dolce, host of the Rogue Wave podcast. If you like comics, movies, TV, pop culture, and want inside access to the creators behind it, then you've come to the right place. Join us every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, streaming live on Facebook.com/RogueWavePodcast and Twitch.tv/RogueWavePodcast. New episodes available on all major podcasting apps immediately following the live stream. Rogue Wave Podcast, the frequency for all things pop culture and the disruptors behind it.
And welcome back to the Button Smash Podcast. Thank everybody who's been listening on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, or listen to a podcast on your way to work while you're at home, not going to work because we're still in a COVID society. So we have some more stuff to talk about. News of the week here. It looks like Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft are making a shared pledge to keep gamers safe. Chris, talk to me.
So all three companies have kind of signed on to this pledge. It was actually announced on the Sony Interactive Entertainment blog. This pledge is entitled, or rather, this post is entitled, "Our Shared Commitment to Safer Gaming." And so, a lot of the stuff is things that the companies have been doing themselves, but they just kind of want to do a joint effort to inform people that, hey, this is something that we are thinking of, including prevention to empower players and parents to understand and control gaming experiences. That way, when parents have their kids online playing with other people, they understand like what that looks like, as well as giving tools to allow parents to monitor or control, when kids are, and what types of interactions kids can have on there as well. They are also going to be making partnerships. They say, we commit to partnering with the industry, regulators, law enforcement, and our communities to advance user safety. So that way they are partnering not just with what they put forward, but also the surrounding community as well. And they are saying, as far as responsibility, we hold ourselves accountable for making our platforms as safe as possible for all players. I just think this is really interesting because it's one of the first times that we're seeing all three of the biggins coming together, saying this is something that we're taking seriously, and here are a set of guidelines that we're going to try to have our business practices follow. So this is cool that we have all three. Do you guys remember any other time that even groups of these these companies have joined together on stuff?
I mean, they've joined together in the console wars for our entire collective lives.
I mean, we've only really had the 2 out of 3, right? Wasn't it? Was it Microsoft and Nintendo, or Sony and Nintendo? One of them and Nintendo.
I think Microsoft and Nintendo.
Microsoft and Nintendo have teamed up as recently as putting Banjo in Smash.
Yeah,
which was, they were bumping each other up and on social media, which was cool. It's but weird, but cool.
Yeah.
And similar stuff with like Ori and the Will of the Wisps as well. Like that I forget what studio that is, but it is the Microsoft studio, and letting that those games end up on Switch is actually really cool too as well. But the internet is evolving. We're seeing all sorts of different behaviors that 10 years ago really weren't a thing, and we're now in the age of information where, again, 10 years ago, parents probably didn't know too much about what their kids were doing online. Like, whatever, have this thing, but you got to educate yourself on how to protect your family. And
I've got a handbook here, how to avoid the dangers of AOL chat rooms. Okay. I think
still applies. Perfect.
It was Nintendo and Microsoft teamed up when crossplay was still not kind of really a thing, and Sony was like, we're not doing that, and literally Nintendo and Microsoft were like, why, we're doing it, nerds. Why can't you do it?
For what game?
That's what it was. I think it was for Rocket League.
Yeah,
I feel like they teamed up a long time ago, back when I would install ROMs on my computer and just play Nintendo games.
That's weird. Sega teamed up as well. That's weird.
Oh no, I'm playing a Nintendo ROM with an Xbox controller. The crossover of the century.
Ooh.
Yeah, you say that now, but when it says press X, that's a different button than what's on your Xbox controller.
It's so upsetting.
It ends up being like left bumper.
It's backwards.
The most upsetting thing between a Nintendo controller and a Xbox controller is that literally the X and Y and the A and B are reversed on both of them, and it's infuriating. Why didn't someone just say, this is the way it is, and we're going to do it?
Nintendo did, and then Microsoft decided we don't want to copy the Super Nintendo.
That's true.
Forget that.
So we have Microsoft to blame for this. And then all generic gamepads have modeled themselves after Xbox anyways, so it doesn't even matter.
It's like
weird.
Poetry, it rhymes.
Perfect. So that was interesting. Another interesting thing that happened is that GameStop decided that they were going to do some PS5 pre-orders in store, except they didn't tell any of their employees that was the case.
Oh, no.
And when so all of a sudden, when people got word, the stores were just bombarded with 40 people deep, which is completely against COVID
masks,
regulations. Yeah. So, I mean, awesome, GameStop.
You say that's interesting. I say that's Tuesday at GameStop.
The day 40 people walked into your store was the worst day of your retail life.
It's
My God.
and especially that like you're
it
only
was
able to go in
Tuesday.
store, which is great to circumvent all the scalpers because they know it's an issue. Even though Sony's list like, oh, thanks to everybody who made this launch so successful.
Oh,
Yeah.
man,
This is the
successful.
worst launch I've ever seen.
Yeah, I couldn't
Speaking of
believe
this-
I couldn't believe when they made that social media post. It's just like, are you kidding me? Are you serious right now? Like, who in corporate thought that was a good idea? It's
Yeah.
like, oh,
Out
let's
of touch billionaire.
exactly. Yeah, let's thank all the gamers for making our launch so successful. All the
so
scalpers.
some
Come on.
incredibly smart person decided it'd be really funny in this area to start contacting scalpers on Craigslist. So they would contact one, tell them, oh yeah, I'm going to meet you here in this parking lot. And then they would contact a different scalper for PlayStation and say, yep, I'm going to meet you here in this parking lot. And yeah, I'll buy it from you. And then they send two different people and the person never shows up, of course. So two different scalpers have to now talk to each other and figure out who the fuck's actually buying PlayStation.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's great.
That's awesome.
It's like when
So
you call
smart.
two Chinese food restaurants on the phone and you tilt them this way and you have
Yep.
them talking to each other.
Exactly.
That's angry. So the funny thing about all the, like them bragging about the launch is that it actually was just announced that Nintendo actually actually has the most consoles sold right now during November in going into the holiday season because apparently you can get Switches again, which
The
is
Switch
great.
is doing
Yeah.
gangbusters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
you
They're
get 'em
putting
at-
out the coolest thing now is they're putting out new Joy-Cons again.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Oh.
I ordered some on Amazon because I got drift real bad. So I
Yeah,
want new
yeah.
ones.
I just got some drift on mine. I'm like, damn it.
Oh,
I was
no.
going good this whole time.
I got new ones and they're green and black. They're
Ooh.
awesome.
Yeah,
I mixed up two different ones.
I got double gray because I have the Smash Brothers Switch and it would feel weird having colors on a totally monochrome dock and everything. But yeah, I'm sending my old ones back in for refurbishment.
But
Maybe I'll
now
get
you
a-
don't have to wait.
Now I don't have to wait, but
For your games
want
to
a
be
little-
over.
I want a little piece of that class action though. Let me tell you.
Why she can
A
get
little taste.
25 cents?
Yes.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And I also know that like we are, PS5s are hard to get right now. I actually just looked up some articles about the PS4, and it actually was about 6 months before you were able to like regularly get them.
Really?
Without having
Wait,
to go through
what?
stuff.
I got that
Yeah.
the first day, and it's sitting right
So
here.
Yeah.
I will say that probably at launch it was easier to get them then, but there was definitely more of a drought. I feel like less of a drought than PS3, which also felt it feels very similar to what we're dealing with right now.
Yeah.
But the idea is like, again, the shortages is just nothing new. It's just that people have basically figured out how to use bots now, and they're being jerks about
I think that's what it is, because for the PS4, like I didn't get mine day one or the first week. It's still within that first launch generation. I think I got it maybe like 2 or 3 weeks after, something like that. But I was still able to get one. Everyone I knew was able to get it either online or in store, and it's not like they had plenty
Yeah.
of everything. So I think it could be that maybe more and more people, now that technology advances so much, they figured out how to get bots to hit consoles, because you have so many people like getting bots for like shoes and all these other different products, and those same people are like, oh hey, let's do it to these systems. Everyone's home because of COVID, let's hit it up, and all those scalpers need to go straight to hell. But it looks like Nintendo also had an Indie World Direct. Go with
they
that.
did. They actually announced a ton of new games, or games that we've known about as well. However, I just want to highlight a couple of them. For instance, Spelunky 1 and 2 are coming to the Switch in summer of 2021.
Is it a bundle?
I believe they are going to be separate, but I'm not 100% sure if there is going to be a bundle as well. But they're going to be launching at the same time, which is cool. Because I think... Oh no, it was on PlayStation. I think that was it a PlayStation exclusive before this?
Spelunky 2 was a PlayStation exclusive for it was like a timed release before it went to PC and everything.
Or Spelunky 1, you mean? Because Spelunky 2 hasn't been released yet.
What?
Oh no, has it been released?
Yes, it has.
Oh, all right. Well, Go me.
I mean, I've watched people playing it, so I hope it's been released.
all right. Cool. I remember it being announced. I remember being announced in the PlayStation stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. Another game, Cyber Shadow, made by Yacht Club Games, who did Shovel Knight, which is a really, really cool looking game. Is coming out January 26th of 2021. So that's actually pretty soon. I'm pretty stoked about that. That was the one when we were
I'm
at
stoked.
when we were
I heard
at
it.
PAX. I had waited in line for like an hour to play the game, and then I got to be the second person in line. I was about to get ready to play, and I get a text from Greg being like, "Yo, we're going to see Retro Replay live with Troy Baker. And
Get
Illinois.
over
Get
here."
over. You were like, get over here now. And I was like, oh, yep. And I literally just walked off out of the line. I was like, I just wasted an hour. That's all right. Casey got to talk to the completionist.
It kind of seems insane that we were at a convention.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to do it.
Right before everything.
Wait,
went
we were
weird.
at a what? What was that word you
What
said?
is it? What is it?
I haven't heard that term.
Except
since-
I got
In
sick just before
84
that.
years.
You got sick just before that. There's literally a guy paid to hang out on the escalator and just like Purell the friggin' handrail.
Just
It was
grease
great.
it up.
Dude, it was
Yeah.
the cleanest I've ever seen any convention, like any Comic Con.
Also, because
anything.
there's only like
My
2/3
God.
full of people.
Yeah.
Like,
Think about
Yeah.
that. Think about how many people were there. None of us had masks on or anything like
Yeah.
that.
No.
And what's insane
And
is that COVID was already in America and everything
Yeah.
at that time. It was
Yep.
already here. which is
And I had
insane.
just got
dropped
back the
out.
day before from Ireland. I
Oh my God.
walked
Yeah,
off
I
a plane,
remember that.
went to bed, and then drove to a
Oh,
convention
man.
like
Oh,
a jerk.
world, we were so
Little
brave,
did I know.
man. We were so brave.
I would have been considered a bioterrorist at that time for doing that. They also announced Among Us is now available on Switch as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
$5.
Oh wow.
That's pretty
So
good.
cheap.
I boke. No
Look,
problem.
how's the voice thing going to work with
I don't know.
like?
That
Because
is
Nintendo
very-
doesn't
Well,
have
a lot
like,
of
just
people-
jump into Discord on your phone or something.
Yeah, a lot of people don't play with voice too. Like they just
which is
use
weird.
the
Yeah, I
text.
had
Yeah.
I had a coworker who like she would always play. I mean, she's playing regular now, without any voice, and I'm just like, wait, what? You're missing like a huge part of the game. That's
Yeah.
that's what really makes Among Us like Among Us, and what really makes it pop.
Yeah.
And then like when she started playing like with voice and everything, she's like, you were right. Like it's a totally a different game now. So
Yeah.
crazy, yeah. But I'm very sure they'll have like preset options where you just type into the chat. But it's so weird just typing into the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
And then the only other real big game of mention, Super Meat Boy Forever, a platforming hell favorite, is coming out December 23rd. So that's actually coming out in
Oh.
next week.
Hell is
Hey.
only one of the levels in that game. It is infinitely worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of levels and things, let's cut over to what everyone's been playing. This is where we talk about what we've been playing, aptly titled. But enough with, let's kick it back over to Chris. What have you been playing lately?
I actually played Overwatch for basically the first time. I dove into it a little bit at a friend's house on PlayStation. Really wasn't into it. And then I decided to get it for PC, and I actually
So much
really
more
was
fun.
enjoying it. Way more fun.
Yeah.
And then Greg actually did an event with the Geek Generation where they were playing against people,
Yeah.
and I was like, yeah, why not? Why not jump in? And the important thing is I killed Greg a few times. I
The
called
important
it
thing is that his team lost.
every time.
Every
Without
time.
fail.
I really should have joined. I just like talked shit at Greg for a little bit and then just completely ignored
Well,
everybody
so-
in this podcast because I was playing Cyberpunk.
Yeah. I mean, you couldn't have because we didn't have voice chat open for all you
Yep.
Joes out there. But
Yep.
yeah.
And it was funny because someone on my team made a joke about someone else only like what have you been only playing for 3 days? And I was like, guys, I've actually only been playing for 3 days. So that was great. And then I played a little bit more of Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, still I know. Again, I'm like way behind the times on
No,
all
I
of
haven't
I was gonna say
started
this is
yet.
your first time playing Fallen Order.
Yeah, I didn't play
I-
it when it first came out.
What do you think of it? What's your early assessment?
So I was having issues where it was stuttering like crazy. And I looked online for the launch PS4. And I looked online that there's a setting you can about like data sharing or something like that. That I turned off and it made it way better. But this definitely still a little bit of graphical issues. But besides that annoyance, it's now an annoyance and not a hindrance. I'm actually really liking it. It definitely doesn't really hold your hand in a lot of times of trying to figure out what to do. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's Uncharted, but like also Sekiro. So it's like
Yeah.
it's everything. I'm
Parry
thoroughly enjoying it.
system.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a big surprise to me that the combat was more Souls-like than anything else, and
Yeah.
it was kind of refreshing just to play a game like that because you were used to Star Wars games just being like arcadey, just go ahead and blow through and mash buttons. Yeah, let's go. And I
I'm
was like,
Star Killer,
smash
and
buttons.
I'll pull Star Destroyers and make two stormtroopers hold hands.
yeah, pretty much.
That's the best thing to happen in Star Wars gaming, period. And you know it.
It rules.
It's
so
so
good.
funny.
It absolutely rules.
Yeah, the
So
combat
anyway.
system is great in this game.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm still very early. I'm only on like the second planet or something like that, so it's pretty good. But Casey, what are you playing, man?
So funny story. After I beat Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, I got a real itch to play Breath of the Wild again. And I know what you're thinking. Like, Casey, that is like a huge 200-hour game. Didn't you just tell Greg you were going to play Alan Wake and then Control back to back? And the answer
Lies.
is
He's lying.
the answer is
Full of crap.
why not do both? Because I can't play Alan Wake on my work commute.
Fair.
So I owned Breath of the Wild on my Wii U. And if you know anything about me, you know that I try to complete every game that I play. So I poured hours and hours of time into that game, getting every gosh darn Korok seed under the sun, taking pictures of every living, moving thing in that game. And then, I haven't touched my Wii U since forever because who cares? I have a Switch now. I don't need it. So I actually double dipped on this game. I was originally just going to borrow it from Chris, but then I'm like, wait a minute, I can't borrow DLC. And I got to complete it again. So funny enough, it happened to go on sale pretty much that exact week. I think it might actually still be on sale if you're interested in picking it up. If you haven't played it, it's probably the best Zelda ever made. And if it's not the best one ever made, it's definitely the best one made in the past 4 years. So,
I mean, it's good enough that like, how many game companies now are trying to like copy this art style
Yeah.
in the world, and
like Zelda traditionally has just been this sort of linear progression. Like there's not a lot of things you could do out of order. The first game and the second game kind of, but once you get to A Link to the Past, you have to do everything in a specific order because all the dungeon items match up with what you're going to need in the future. Ocarina of Time is just a straight line. Majora's Mask plays around with it a bit, and then, now it's just, they dunk you into this world. They barely give you any story. Link is even amnesiac. You have to scrounge for weapons, supplies. They've totally changed the face of Zelda, and it makes people really concerned for the future of the series because it's like, well, what are you just going to do the same exact thing in a sequel? Because you don't want that. But how do you innovate on something that is already like what everybody's wanted? Like they didn't know that they wanted it, but now they have it.
Yeah.
And now it's a tentpole game for just game development as a whole.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
I'll tell you something, it looks way better. And it really made me think about why companies even bother to develop for 2 console generations, because all it really seems to do is hurt the main release.
look at Cyberpunk.
But I mean, this is, this has been happening for years. I mean, how many iterations of a game have you seen that were on Wii and go all the way back to PlayStation 2? Like, it's crazy that they're developing for so many platforms. Like Nintendo, like Nintendo is like the king of exclusives because all of their franchises have always been like just on their own stuff. So it makes no sense why they would double develop when they could just be like, well, people are going to buy our new system anyway. And if this is the only system that you can play the new Zelda on, then they'll just get it. I don't know.
And then they sold more copies of Breath in the Wild than they did Switches because you couldn't get Switches at that launch.
That was the whole reason I bought it on Wii U.
Yep.
But Jay, what have you been playing?
You guys know CyberPunk. I've not touched Rust in almost 2 weeks. Feels
Oh my
weird.
gosh, are you okay?
Liar. I think you're lying.
No, I mean,
I think you're full of crap.
Cyberpunk's really got you then.
I found a different, what do you want to call it? A drug. I found a different drug, whatever. Upgrade it. No, I feel like I'm going to go back to Rust. The moment I'm satisfied and the moment I romance this person in Cyberpunk, I'm done. So
Just in it for the romance.
I'll go back to waking up naked on the beach with a rock and a torch. Don't worry.
All right, and I've also been playing Cyberpunk. So there's that too. Greg, what have you been up to?
I've also been playing Cyberpunk.
Oh, come on.
Hey, look at that. It's almost like we're all
three
playing
sames.
this big old game that's dropped.
As Chris said, I did take part in the Geek Generation Stream Team event where it was Overwatch, where it was the stream team versus pretty much anyone who showed up. So that was a lot of fun.
Versus the world.
Yeah, I also finally played Untitled Goose Game, which was really fun. It was a quick 3 hours, maybe like 3 hours, 10 minutes. I was being a little bit of a clown with one thing. but it's a great game. If you've never played it, I do highly recommend it. I feel like everyone, I'm late to the game on this one. I feel like everyone has played it, but it's literally just asshole simulator is what it is. Like one of these, if you've never played it before, never heard of it, really, it's like a children's book illustrated game is what it kind of looks like. And you're a goose, and the goose is just trying to get from point A to point B, and you have challenges to do. One of the challenges is make an old man fall to the ground. So what you have to do is you have to get him to stand up and then take away his chair right before he sits in it, and then he falls and busts his ass, like stuff like that.
Typical goose behavior.
Typical goose shenanigans
goose.
is what you get up to. I had a lot of fun, a lot of great laughs with it. It got very challenging for a couple of them where I was trying to figure out some of the hidden challenges or even some of the main challenges, which is really cool. But yeah, like
restaurant, man.
Yeah,
the restaurant level's rough.
That one was pretty brutal. But I think if you enjoy puzzle games and kind of chill environments, but also having like something funny to do, I do recommend it. I think I bought it and it was like $5 because I had a $10 off coupon on the Epic Store and it was already like half off anyways. So yeah, I definitely say look into it. Tomorrow, if you're watching this live, I plan on playing The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, which I'm very much looking forward to because I have yet to touch that. That takes place in the Life is Strange universe, supposedly. So it'll be good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Speaking of good, looks like we got some free games that are coming out for the holidays. Talk about it.
Yeah. So as they do every year, Epic has started up their holiday sale. It looks like it started up today. So that means you get a $10 regenerating coupon. So basically, they give you a $10 off coupon. If you use it on a game, they'll give you another one. If you use it on a game, they'll give you another one. Basically, you keep on getting $10 off until January 7th, which is amazing. They are doing also a free game every 24 hours starting today. So today's game is Cities Skylines. I always want to call it City Skyline, but it's plural. It's plural.
Is that just SimCity?
Yes. Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'd never played it, but I redeemed it because, you know, what else are you going to do with a free game? You let it sit there. It's free. But it looks like SimCity. Yeah. It looks like a more advanced SimCity. So there's that. Tomorrow's game could be anything. So we'll have to wait and see.
I get to pick anything.
But take advantage of your $10 off coupon. They are also doing sales and discounts on a whole bunch of other games. It does look like Fuser is on there. So if you're interested in that one looks fairly cheap on there. That's one I was kind of eyeballing. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is on sale as well. So I think that's your typical 10 to 15% off. But it's all in there in the Epic Store. So I do recommend you check it out.
Absolutely. And that was the Epic always has a lot of good sales, a lot of stuff for people for a really low or a good price. They're really giving Steam a run for their money, literally.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. So download the Epic Game Store launcher and get all that stuff. And like we're not even like getting anything for this. We just want to let you guys know what's going on with the game. You know what I mean? Because like it's just like, you know, when your friends like, hey, did you download this game yet? Did you hit up the Epic Store? You haven't looked at Steam? Like this is discounted. This is free. So we're really just doing this for you guys. So that's what it's all about. And
also, really quickly, too, before I wrap up, Immortals Phoenix Rising, which is a Breath of the Wild knockoff, kinda, is $40. If you take off the 10, it's $30. It's half price.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
I bought it at full price, and I haven't played it because CyberPunk came out. So I wonder if I can return
Listen,
that.
we've all bought things we regret. I paid full price for Fallout 76. Right? That might be my greatest shame.
Yeah, that is. All right, guys. That's all we have for this episode, and that's all we have for this year. 2020 has been very interesting, as this is the last podcast for the year. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. This has been an incredible time for us here at Button Smash. Hopefully, you guys will stay tuned with us into the coming year. We love seeing you guys being active in chat, especially when you guys talk amongst yourselves. I think it's cute. It's like the community just starts, you know, either helping each other out or just talking about whatever. And thank you guys for enjoying our show, enjoying all of our wonderful personalities, taking the time out to actually tune into the show and listen to us, give us feedback, or just give us some hearts in the chat. It's always great seeing you guys here. But yeah, if you guys want to go around, do a little wrap up for 2020.
Yeah, I just want to say off 2020.
Perfect.
Yeah, 2021. It can't be worse than 2020. Fast forward 2 months. Oh my God, it's so much
It's on
worse.
fire. Everything.
Everything's on
Doom is
fire.
real.
It's a
Mars opened up.
nightmare.
there was a Hellgate there. It's true.
Our
And
next
The Rock's
episode
doing
will
nothing
be
about it.
our next episode is going to be on December 32nd.
I love that
2020.
meme. I
You
I-
can't stop it.
I love that meme. Oh, can't wait for 2020 to be done. December 32nd enters the chat. December 32nd shows up.
Hello there.
13 o'clock.
Yeah.
Crap.
Casey, Chris, anything you want to say for the wrap up?
I mean, I could have probably asked for a worse 30th year on this earth. I didn't ask for it. I could have, but
But
this
you
is
got
what
it.
I got. Yeah.
Look, 2021. The vaccines are heading out. Just sit tight, wear your damn mask, stay away from people if you can.
And get ready for
We're-
the zombies.
Get ready for the zombies.
Get
it's
ready
fine.
for the zombies. The Raccoon City T-virus vaccination is coming. For everybody.
Doors.
Oh,
We're
man.
getting there. We're getting there, guys. Hang tight.
Yeah. And I do want to take one last question from the chat from Brooklyn Michelle. What's everyone's favorite nostalgic game?
For? Oh man, I can I can run train on Majora's Mask any single day.
Why'd you put it like that? What the fuck?
Because I play that
That's
game.
awesome.
I play that game like it's a tender lover. It's brought me so much joy.
That's
damn
that's
it.
much different than running train.
Yeah, there's a whole other.
Fi-
This is like
Final
it's always selling
Fantasy
in Philadelphia. I feel
VIII.
like the implication.
The implication.
Nah,
Probably
I'd
because
run
of-
train on Final Fantasy VIII. There we go. Just keep saying it.
There we go.
Solidarity, dude.
There we go. We're just looking
Oh man. Super Mario Brothers 3 for me, probably.
Oh, you'd run train on it? Cool.
I would, yeah. That's right, dude. That's why they call it with the magic flute.
You'd run airship on it.
You run airship on it. Yeah, you gotta use the flutes. You gotta skip to that last world.
What about
Yeah.
you, Greg?
For me, I can't even say it with running train because it's gonna sound terrible.
Do it.
It's an old NES game that's called Little Nemo Dream Master.
Do you want me to
train.
say it? I'm not afraid.
Like
Oh,
that game was the greatest. Like I got infinite replayability out of that because it's just so much fun. But yeah,
Nice. And mine, one of my favorite nostalgia games. I couldn't wait to play this game every day I got home. Chrono Trigger. Love it.
Nice.
One of my
Yeah.
favorite
Nice.
RPGs. I love. Like, I don't know how many times I played that game because of the time, because of the endings, the different team comps you can do. I just couldn't wait to get home and play that game every single day, and even for all the replays. So Chrono Trigger is mine. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for sticking tuned, and thank you, Brooklyn, for that question there. Thank you, everybody who's
thank you.
sticking with us in 2020 and coming with us into 2021. Happy New Year, everybody. Stay safe out there, and we will see you later. We'll see you another time.